After a surge of hiring in the tech industry in COVID era, there is now a wave of layoffs, especially at Twitter, Meta and Amazon. It has impacted a considerable number of Indians working in the US on H-1B visas. And the worry for most Indians working in America is that it might not just end there. Hello and welcome to 360 Degree. Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, has hinted at another round of layoffs. One of the biggest tech companies is openly admitting at axing more jobs, and the Indians working there are worried. Just look at some of the numbers. In January of this year, Google chose to lay off 6% of its staff, leaving 12,000 Googlers unemployed. Many of these were Indians working on the elusive H-1B visa. Now, all those Indians who had built up a life in America are worried about losing their dollar dreams. According to US media reports, nearly 2 lakh IT workers have been laid off since November last year. Industry reports say that between 30 to 40% of them are Indian IT professionals, a significant number of whom are on H-1B and L-1 visas. As of 2020, Google reported that 41.9% of its US workforce identified as Asian, which includes Indian employees. This is why it's not difficult to judge the impact these layoffs are having on Indians living abroad. These companies are built on the blood and sweat of Indians who are hired and fired at the whims of the tech industry. According to the Economic Policy Institute, a non-profit American public policy think tank, the top 30 H-1B visa firms in the United States hired 34,000 new workers in 2022. And then went on to lay off approximately 85,000 people in 2022 and early 2023. 13 of the top 30 H-1B visa businesses were discovered to be outsourcing firms that use the program to underpay migrant workers. The report says, and I quote, "Most employers hire H-1B visa workers because they can be underpaid and are de facto indentured to the company or the employers." According to the ECI statistics, Amazon ranks first in terms of both new H-1B workers and layoffs. It hired 6,400 new H-1B workers in 2022 and almost 6,200 new H-1B workers in 2021 as well. The software giant has lately laid off or plans to lay off 27,150 people, which is more than double the number of H-1B workers employed in 2021 and 2022 combined. The report goes on to say that last year, Google and Meta, both long-time top H-1B employers, employed nearly 3,100 new H-1B workers. The two companies laid off 33,000 people, over 11 times the amount of new H-1B workers they employed in 2022. Now let's understand what happens when an Indian worker loses his job. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, or the USCIS, provides a 60-day grace period to the visa holders who lose their jobs. This grace period allows them to either find a new employer, change their immigration status, or prepare to leave the country. If the H-1B worker is unable to find a new job, they can consider changing their visa status to another category, such as F1 for the students or B1 or B2 for temporary visitors. They must file the change of status application within the 60-day grace period and meet the requirements for the new visa category. If the H-1B visa worker cannot find a new employer or change their visa status within the grace period, they must leave the United States. Failing to depart may result in the accrual of unlawful presence, which can have severe consequences, such as being barred from returning to the US for a certain period. Losing a job also affects the H-1B workers' dependents, which means spouse and children who are holding H-4 visas, children who may have been born there and are US citizens. It also impacts the parents of children who may have been born there and are US citizens. These parents must uproot their entire lives and head back to India. Do tell us what you think about this video in the comment section, and for more news updates, subscribe to India Today.